Welcome. Welcome to our daily video. We begin with our traditional two blessings, things that become traditional anyway. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam haoneh b'eit tzara. Praise are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who answers us in our time of crisis. Hayom shalosh ma'ot v'arba'im v'chamisha yomim lahaseger. V'teisha yomim lahaseger. This is the 349th day in our isolation. And Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Praise are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who commands us to always busy ourselves with the study of Torah. Okay, so now that Purim is over, today is Shushan Purim, but that's not observed in Manchester. So Purim is over, back to our series on prayer. And I wanted to clarify something that may not have been clear when I spoke about the blessings, the morning blessings that I spoke about just before Purim. The morning service itself has many parts, and many people don't know about the different parts of the morning service because they come at different times, and they don't see all the different pieces that the morning service really has. It's a little longer than most other services because it's in the morning and we're fresh and we're able to spend a little bit of time on our prayers before we get started on our busy days. The main part of the Shachrit service, of course, is Shachrit itself. It begins with Baruch Hu, and it goes all the way through the Amidah. Those are the two main prayers of the service, the Shema and the Amidah, and they really and the blessings that surround them form the basic Shachrit service that is to be done virtually every day. There are some differences on holidays, but the Shachrit service is basically built around those two prayers. There's the Shema and the Amidah. It is followed by the Torah service when the Torah is being read. On days when the Torah is read, we have a Torah service. And it also is concluded with what's known as a Musaf service, an additional service. Now, most days, the additional service is really quite short, an Ashrei, and Aleinu, and then a few psalms at the end, psalm for the day. But on holidays, the Musaf service can be quite long with a complete additional Amidah that's added in honor of the festival that we might be observing. But it's the stuff that comes before Shachrit that many times people don't know. It's the warm-ups. The series that comes right before Shachrit begins is known as the Pesukei de Zimra, the verses of song. And these are mostly verses from the book of Psalms, and it sort of sets the tone for what the Shachrit service is all about. It sort of gets us in the mood for praising God. It talks a little bit about God in nature, and then it switches over to a little bit more God in history, and then we begin to have the formal Shachrit service itself. But there is an even earlier part of the service, before the Pesukei de Zimra. It has to do with the time of how these services are constructed. Shachrit is meant to be recited at sunrise. The Shema itself has a tradition of being recited just as the sun breaks through the horizon. And that's the moment when the Shema is supposed to be recited. But as we know, the sky gets lighter long before the sun ever breaks the horizon. And as the sky lightens up, our prayers start out with these very, very early prayers we call the Birchot HaShachar. These are the prayers that sort of frame how we're going to be praying all day. Birchot HaShachar means the blessings that are recited as dawn for the morning star. Shachrit is the morning star, the first light of the day. Daybreak. These prayers are just like, and are the part of these prayers is the blessings that we had listed, that we were studied and looked at prior to Purim. But there's lots of other prayers here that help us prepare ourselves and orient ourselves for the day that is coming. Shachrit is a very formal service. But the Birchot HaShachar is a little less formal, and it gets to the the very essence of why we're praying in the first place. Many of these prayers are unknown to lots of people because they're a little late to arrive for the services. They come for Shachrit or maybe a little bit of Pesukei de Zimra. So they don't even know that there's an earlier part of the service that's out there. And regular davening that we start out every morning, even if you come at the very beginning of the service, even this, with the blessings that we recite at the very beginning, skips over many prayers to open with that list of blessings. Because these are prayers that are designed for much earlier in the day. Our very first prayers in the morning service are a prayer for waking up in the morning, Moda'ani. There's a prayer for our body and a prayer for our soul. And there's also a prayer for entering the synagogue at the beginning of the day. The first verses of Torah study are included in the Birkot HaShachar. The first Torah study that get our day off to a day of learning. So here in this early part of the service that, again, many people don't even know about, right at the beginning of the prayer book, we find the very essence of what it means to pray.